How's it rockin', Dween Nation? This is the Dween Sports Podcast. We're about to get underway. But before we do, we'd love if you could like, comment, subscribe, or share. We are posting weekly sports content, and we want to build up the brand that is Dween Sports. Thank you all, and enjoy.
Welcome in, Dween Nation. This is your host, Justin Paez, alongside Genoa, Agudelo, and we just had our NBA award predictions episode. If you want to hear about that, who do you think is going to win each of the awards, which includes MVP, Coach of the Year, Sixth Man, Most Improved, Rookie of the Year, and Defensive Player, go check out that episode and come back here or watch this one first and then go that one, because this one is NBA playoff prediction. We're going to look at records. We're going to look at what we think is going to play out. And predict the playoffs, who we think is going to win the NBA Finals as of today, February 19th. So we're excited to dive into it all. But before we do, how you doing, Jano?
Yo, Dween Nation. Justin, thinking about the finals last year and, not over it completely, but they did have a Dallas Mavericks team with Luka Doncic. Now, not even a full year since the finals, we have a Luka Doncic on the Lakers team.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, what if they make the finals and have a Boston-LA rivalry renewed? Oh, man, the ghost of Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Paul Pierce, Kobe Bryant. You got Paul Gasol there. You got KG. I mean, man, Justin, this rivalry might just still be a thing, but I don't think it'll happen. Hopefully, we got my Rockets. Well, let's sweep everybody and win it all.
Yeah, no, that's the plan. We'll see if it plays out in these predictions. And I'll start us off. I'll do the East first. Then you'll do the East. Then I'll let you do the West. Then I'll do the West. And then we'll pick our finals predictions out of those two teams that are in the finals. So we'll start here. Cleveland's going to play the 8th seed, which will be either Miami or Chicago. And I'm going to assume it's the Heat because not the Bulls. They haven't really been anything for a while now. And
no Zach LaVine.
No Zach. They've shipped off just about everybody, but they kept Nikola Vucevic for some reason. But anyway, I'll go with Cleveland. Not much discussion there. Out of the other two, or I guess Atlanta could make it too, but I think Miami would jump them. Atlanta really hasn't moved me. Then Orlando, I think, will also take that 7-seed spot, play Boston. We will get Boston to move on. Detroit will play the 3-seed Knicks, and I know I've been pretty chalk here, but I'm going to go with the Knicks. So the top 3 teams will move on. Then we got the Pacers and the Bucks, and I think the Bucks will pull it off, even though I think that'll be the best series of the Eastern, the first round. And so after round 1, it would be Bucks versus Cavs, and I think the Cavs are going to win. They've just been that good. And then Boston and New York will jump on to the next round. And so we will get those two teams in the Eastern Conference Finals. Or we'll get Cleveland versus either Boston or New York. Which one do I want to do here? Oh, man, that's a tough one.
For me, Justin, I'm thinking Cleveland and Milwaukee in the second round. Like, I think the first round in the East, Justin, it's kind of it's just whatever, right? Sprinkles. Let's get it over with. Let's get it cooked. Let's get it one and done. Teams like, I think the Heat can secure the 8th seed. I like Tyler Hero and Wiggins and Bam Adebayo there post Jimmy trade. Spoelstra and Pat Riley to make the playoffs. You can't disrespect the history, the experience that whole franchise has with making the playoffs with subpar players, right? They had those years after LeBron left when Bosh retired. It was just D Wade and like Josh Richardson and Justice Winslow, and they were still making playoffs. Right? I don't know if you remember Hassan Whiteside too. I think I think that like this team could still make the 8th seed and lose in 5 to Cleveland. Like I think that's reasonable. And so the first round for me, Justin, it's kind of in the air. The final 4 teams are Cleveland, Boston, New York, and Milwaukee. Obviously, the standings probably won't make it happen, but I don't really think Indiana's all that good. I think they need a superstar or 2 away. Detroit is still very young, and so I think that those are the 4 powerhouse, like not powerhouse, but 4 legitimate, like the only contenders there. And so it'll be Cleveland and Milwaukee the second round, and then Boston and New York. That will be the second round series to watch, because in the past the East second series haven't really been all that anticipating. But I do like. Milwaukee could upset Cleveland. Dame time versus Darius Garland and that backcourt with Mitchell, that would be interesting. I'm gonna pick Man, I don't even know, Justin. Who would you pick in that series? I mean,
I
I mean, we need to figure out these real quick, but it's like, who would you win in that series?
That's no, it's really tough because you got one of the best players in basketball in Giannis, but I mean, if you look, I'm looking at how they've done against each other so far this year, and the Cavs are 3-0 against the
Wow.
Bucks, and I just think I would go with the Cavs for one. They've just been better this year, and also I feel like they match up with the Bucks pretty well because Giannis trying to get into that paint where you got Jared Allen and Evan Mobley standing in your way. No, thank you. Now I don't think that Garland would be able to lock up Dame, but I also don't think Dame would be able to lock up Garland. So I think that it'd be going back and forth. And then you're just going to leave Donovan Mitchell kind of out there. I think Cavs will pull that off. I think the best game or the best series is that Boston and Knicks one, where I'm going to have
Yeah.
to go Boston
In
as much
7.
as I like the Knicks and what they've been doing with Cat. So now that leaves us, are we going to both agree Cavs, Boston, 1 versus 2 to get into the finals?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have to go Boston. Dang, as
I'm
much as I
gonna
want to.
go. Yeah, I'm gonna go Boston in 6 in the Eastern Conference Finals. I think Jason Tatum gets the MVP of the series, the Larry Bird MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals. I think that if Boston goes back to back, this is Jason Tatum's MVP year,
Okay.
and I want to give myself some credit. I did predict Jalen Brown last year on his Finals MVP run, and so I think I'm feeling this year it's Tatum's time. Not to mention what happened at the end of last summer in the Olympics, where he had like what back-to-back 0-minute games. Steve Kerr was like, I'll play other people over you.
Dang.
And so I think that Jason Tatum, like he knows he's a good player, but maybe maybe people don't believe it yet. Like he's won the championship, he's got over the hump. That's great. Now it's time to prove a little bit. Like yes, basketball is a team sport, but let's prove individually like how good you can be. Like this is the Celtics franchise. Like so I like Jason Tatum and this Celtics team to come out of these in the second straight year.
All right, so we're both unanimous there with Boston. Let's see who they're going to face out of the West. And we look at this. Let's discuss real quick because this is a stacked conference. But if we look at the 9 and 10, Golden State versus Sacramento to jump into who's going to play the loser of Dallas and Minnesota, I would think we would go Golden State here.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed. I mean, Jimmy Butler, Steph.
Here's the thing about Golden State. They just added Jimmy Butler, which gives them some flair and some fire, and it gives them some feistiness. So now they got Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler, strong personalities to go with that babyface assassin, the future Hall of Famer, the greatest 3-point shooter of all time. And they got some pieces. I like Pajinski. I like Moody, who's going to be coming back. Buddy Hield is really good. Kaminga, Looney. Did I say Looney? I think I did. And they just got some pieces that just make it work. Steve Kerr is still the head coach. He's got all the experience. So, if Buddy can be that really good sharpshooter in the playoffs, Moody can step up his defense. Kaminga can be a really good wing. Pajinski off the bench, and Jimmy Butler just does his Jimmy Butler things. I mean, hey, Jimmy Butler led this team to the finals twice, right? With a rookie Tyler Hero 1 year, another year with Caleb Martin and Troy Vincent. And so, I mean, Jimmy Butler has been able to lead teams with lesser talent to the finals, right? And so now he's got Stephen Curry, he's got Draymond Green, who's a vet. So give me the Warriors to get that 8 seed. Not to mention Dallas and Sacramento both traded away their like franchise, cornerstone players.
Right.
And I think it can only get worse from here, in my opinion. Like I think it just goes downhill for both of them, especially in Dallas. They got no AD. The fans are going to turn. They got no AD, the guy they traded Luka for. I mean, I seen a theory that they might be headed to Vegas in a few years now that Mark Cuban's really not the owner no more. So give me Golden State as the 8 seed, Justin. I like Minnesota where they are. But Phoenix is really surprising there, Justin, how they're so down low. I think they make a run in the play-in. They take Dallas's spot. I wasn't sure how you wanted to keep going. Did you want to predict the first round?
Yeah, let's keep
I would
going.
just bounce. Yeah, go ahead.
We're kind of aligned, though. We think Minnesota will take that 7 spot from Dallas. Dallas will lose that game and play the winner, which we said is Golden State. And we think Golden State will even take Dallas's spot and will be that 8 seed. Correct? We're aligned there on that. All right, now we can kind of dive into the exact matchups where we're going to get Golden State and OKC.
Oh,
We'll
wow.
get Memphis and Minnesota. We'll get Denver and the Clippers, and we'll get Houston and the Lakers. Some
Wow.
really good matchups in the first round. I'll start with Thunder and Golden State. Just give me like your quick how would that play out real quick?
Old meets new.
Yeah.
And you
Really?
know what, Justin? I got to say the Thunder in 7.
Oh
And
wow.
I think game 7 is a narrow victory for the Thunder just because they're at home. But I think it's because a missed shot by another player not named Stephen Curry. I think Steph Curry has a great game 7. They just fall short.
I see what you're looking at. I mean, the fact that they got all that experience behind them, but I think the Thunder would pounce
Oh,
on that and win it in 5. I think I would
okay.
give Warriors at least a W there. So we got OKC moving on. Memphis and Minnesota. That's a pretty good matchup there. I know they don't have Cat, so I feel like Minnesota's been a little less powerful. So I would go with Memphis moving on, but I think this game could go to 7. What do you
Oh,
think?
I'm disagreeing. I think that Cat it leaves a hole in there. Now, does Julius Randle return? Is he out for I don't know if he's out for the season. I know he's out right now.
Yeah, he's out for a while. I'll look it
He's
up.
out for a while.
Keep going.
Yeah. But I think that this could be a gentleman's sweep for Memphis. They get the first 2 games at home. I think Desmond Bain has a great 3-point shooting percentage series in the first 3 games. I think they go up 3-0, kind of like how Dallas did last year. And I feel like something about the Timberwolves feels a little off this year, just a little bit. Something just feels a little bit. You got Ant being, he's still a great player, a superstar on the rise, but there's just a little bit of some deficiencies with the Timberwolves that I just feel like they might get swept. Maybe they lose in 6, but I like the Grizzlies in that one.
Yeah, it says Randall is due to return within the next month, but
Okay,
I still
that's
don't. I
still
still agree. I think Memphis will move on.
yeah.
Denver and the Clippers. I think we could just say it like on a 3, 1, 2, 3. Denver,
Denver in
right?
6
I think they would win it in 5, or
in 5.
I could see a sweep.
Yeah, I think Kawhi if he now
We need
Justin
Kawhi.
Kawhi he misses every playoffs. Justin literally the last 4 years since that bubble run. I mean, he'll play a playoff game and he's done for for the entire playoff. It happened in 21. I mean, it's the only time the Clippers have ever been in the Western Conference Finals in their franchise history. It was just by Paul George himself, like and Pat Bev. Like Kawhi wasn't there. They could have made the finals, and so I
Yeah.
just don't think it's gonna happen. He's getting older.
He
He
needs
had
to
knee
retire.
problems.
He's got to retire,
Yeah,
man. You're just
yeah,
hurt
he's got
way
his
too often.
championships. Mhm.
You're hurt way too often to be, I don't know, even in
Yeah,
this conversation. And Harden's been great, and we talked about Norman Powell in the last episode.
yeah, Harden's been good this year.
I would love Kawhi to. If Kawhi was in there, this could be an actual series, but
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, he's just so unreliable.
Mhm.
But so we got Denver. So we got the first 3 teams in both brackets moving on. But what happens here? Houston and the Lakers. This is a team I don't want our Rockets to draw, to be honest with you. Man, this is tough. Luka and LeBron versus Houston. I mean, the Lakers have the best 2 players in the series.
Yeah.
How can we pick against them? I don't know if I can. What do you think?
I'm gonna go with my Rockets just for the fact that there's no Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, Justin, was a rocket killer in that bubble series that we had against them. Really, the last time we made the playoffs, the Rockets was in the bubble, and I think that the fact that they don't really have a dominant big man now can open up for Sengun to have a good game. You got Adams, who's the backup. Hopefully, Jabari Smith will be back. And I think we can be able to move some pick and roll. And I think that part of the reason why I now not agreeing with Dallas at all for trading, not at even close, but there are some lack of defense in Luka Doncic's game. Now he'll have himself some 25, 10 and 8, 30, 10 and 4, whatever against us, no doubt about it. But I think that we can score on him in critical possessions. I'll say Rockets in a really tight 6-game series.
All right.
Rockets in 6. I think we can end in LA, if not back in Houston.
I'm gonna go with the Lakers. I'm sorry. I'm going with Luka, Magic, and it'll just hurt the Mavericks even more, unfortunately, that they see
the
Luka
Texas
moving
team.
on. I think this is LeBron's kind of last playoff run.
Really?
And so they're gonna get they're going to get this one here. So we have a little bit different, but we'll move on and see what it looks like. We'll have the Lakers go against the Thunder and Memphis play Denver. We'll keep the Lakers in the conversation. What do you think they would do against this Thunder team?
You know what, Justin? I want to tell everybody at Dewey Nation, I don't mean to disrespect the Thunder.
I'm sorry. For you, Houston.
For me, let's just go with LA, just because they're the more experienced team. JJ Redick, he's been around, and not as a head coach, but he knows his basketball. Luka and LeBron. Let's go with them. Let's say LA wins, right?
Okay.
With the bracket, they'd face Oklahoma City, right? That'd be Memphis and Denver. Okay. So, this West series is going to be this West playoffs is going to be great first round, great second round, the whole run. Better than last year's by far. I think, man, Justin, I'm going to take the Lakers over the Thunder. You know what, Justin? Here's the thing. That front court in Oklahoma City, it's not that strong. You got Chet, who is still, he's still very skinny. No doubt he's got a great offensive game. But then you got Hartenstein. I think he's as good as Jackson Hayes. And so even who's the other guy they just signed? They just signed somebody. Who was it? The Lakers. They just signed a center. Oh boy, I'm blanking. I think that they have a new center in town. I think it's Alex Lynn. They got Alex Lynn. So they got two centers that can hold up Chet and Hartenstein. Then it comes down to those shooters, right? Isaiah Joe, Jalen Williams, and then you got Shea. I think that you got Reeves and Dalton Connect, who has a little bit of a grudge from being traded and then being traded back. And they got those shooters. They got LeBron. You got Luka. And I think that players like Dorian Finney-Smith, who's played with Luka, you got these forwards there that can play ball. I think that they just come up better than this Thunder front court. And I think it's not Thunder's time yet. Just like we kind of talked about the Rockets losing too. It's just not their time yet. I don't believe. I think that it's really matchup based though for the Thunder. It depends on who they are. If they got to face a LeBron and a Luka, they could be in trouble. But if they got to face Memphis, maybe Denver, if they got Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray struggling, I do like Oklahoma City. But for this particular series, let's go with LA.
Really? All right. I would go with the Thunder. I think they're where the Rockets want to be, where the Rockets may be in a year or two. But I think the Thunder are at a point now where they're all young, but they're experienced enough. I think they would get this one. But I will keep that there. And then we got Memphis and Denver, where I would go with Denver to beat Memphis in maybe 6 to 7 games. That would be a good series.
Yeah, you know what? This is definitely going 7 games there. It definitely reminds me a lot of last year's series with Denver and Minnesota. I think Minnesota last year, Memphis this year have a lot of similarities. The defense, the team is playing well. The coaching is really well. And so I like Memphis. Man, the thing is in this series, I don't know if I can bet against Nikola Jokic. He's one of those players that right now, he's one of the best players in the league. Jamal Murray is a playoff, king, I would say. He's not the flashiest, he in a lot of ways, he reminds me of Tony Parker. Tony Parker is a great point guard, exceptional Hall of Famer. The regular season, he was okay. He'd get you 13-4, 13-8, 11-5, whatever. But then in the playoffs, he'd had some big-time games, some big-time moments, and I like Jamal Murray to step up. Jamal Murray versus, John Morant. I think that the bench, though, you got Russ coming off the bench. I think he'd shred that Grizzlies bench. And give me the Nuggets in 7. I like him in 7. I think Jaw has a couple good games. Desmond Bane, like I mentioned in the previous series, 3-point shooting is hot, carries over to the next series to get it to 7 games. But give me Denver.
All right, so we're aligned there with Denver. We'll move on to it being – all right, so I'll let you answer first. Right now you have Denver versus the Lakers. Who is going to the finals?
So Denver Lakers, we're just going to have to go with history. And Denver, historically, the past 2 years has eliminated LA and absolute beat down, little bro. I mean, 2023 was a sweep, right? Jamal Murray was cooking. Last series, they got a game on him, but Jamal Murray hit a game winner, I think, in Game 5 to send him home. I think it was like a little, bucket off the backboard and sent them home. And I think history's going to repeat itself. At least, you mentioned this is LeBron's kind of last run. At least they were able to win a playoff series. They got Luka going for. They got some pieces and going into next year. But I think Denver beats LA, but Denver and Oklahoma City, I think it goes to 6 games with Denver
No,
winning.
well,
So regardless,
you're okay. You're doing
so
either way.
regardless, I think I have Denver going to the finals. I think that's what I'm trying to say now.
Gotcha,
I think
gotcha.
I'm realizing that Denver is. I think I'm really. Yeah, I got Denver regardless going to the finals.
All right, I would actually. I'm on the OKC train right now. I would have OKC beating Denver in my side
Really?
of how this would look. I think that would be an ultimate battle as well. Maybe 6 to 7 games. I just think
Okay.
they're ready. I think this is that Thunder year, and so that brings us to the finals. We both have Boston out of the East. Now I have OKC, and you have Denver. I'll pick my prediction here. I think that Boston's going to win back to back
Okay.
and get the big time win here. What do you think would happen in Denver versus Boston?
Okay, Justin. I have 2 scenarios. So if it's Boston and Oklahoma City, I like it to end up the way last year's finals ended up. Gentleman sweep. The Mavericks get one. Shea gets his game, and then they end it in 5 games. With this time, Jason Tatum, the MVP, and Justin, he averages 30 points for the series in the finals, wins the MVP. But if it goes Denver and Boston, I like Jokic in 6 games in these Denver Nuggets. Russell Westbrook wins his first ring. Aaron Gordon and Porter Jr. have a great series. Jokic averages 13 assists, 25 points, 8 rebounds to get himself his second career Finals MVP. He says, "Shea, you can have that MVP. I'm going for the Finals MVP because I'm tired of playing basketball. I want to go with my horsies. I got a new one. His name is Bucky, and I want to leave. I want to go home. But before I do that, I want to win this championship for Denver, and then I'll go rest. You won't hear me till October. So." I think Jokic is an all-time center. He's a top 5, 6 maybe. He's really rich in centers in this league. So I think he's a top 6 center, and he further solidifies it. He beats the reigning champions, and Boston has a great one in the finals. I think they make it close. I think Tatum, Jalen Brown, they do make it close, but I think Jokic is just too much for Boston. No one can guard him. Horford can't. I think their other center is at Luke Cornett. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah.
They got a couple of this that just can't guard Jokic. He proves to be all-time great. I'm predicting Game 3, Justin. He has what he did in Miami in that Miami series a few years ago. He has like 35, like 18 and 10. It's unbelievable. It's remarkable. But when you watch the whole game, Justin, you're like, I didn't even notice that. I didn't even remember. So Jokic has a historical finals run if it's Boston and Denver. But if it's Boston and Oklahoma City, I like Boston to steamroll them just because of the experience.
All right. I like that. I like that take there. It's making me want to go OKC a little bit just because we haven't seen back to back in a while now since Golden State.
Right.
Man, I might flip. I'm gonna stick with Boston now. But what do you got?
I have one storyline that might get some tears, some feelings of the fans all across the world. Game 7, Western Conference Finals. What if it's Oklahoma City Game 7 home with Denver? Denver has this player who we just named, who is the Thunder's probably all-time greatest player because
Yeah.
Kevin Durant left them. And what if Justin Game 7, the Thunder up 2, maybe Jamal Murray and Porter Jr. might be a little fatigued, and the ball is called for Russ Westbrook, Game 7 in Oklahoma City. I'm not going to say what happens, but hey, wouldn't that get the feels of NBA fans, the chills? You see Russell Westbrook with about 8 seconds left to send the Nuggets back to the finals. I mean, man, what a storyline that could be, right, Justin? That'd be
Oh
crazy.
yeah, I know. I like that. I think that's now my favorite outcome. That's what I want to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dwayne Nation. Those are our predictions as of today for the NBA playoffs as it stacks right now in the standings. But we still got another half of basketball to watch. So watch this, enjoy it, put your thoughts into what you think's going to happen, and then we'll be back discussing when the playoffs when we're actually getting the actual bracket and what everything's going to look like there. So stay tuned with us. Thank you guys for watching, and Genoa, send us out.
Yo, Dewey Nation, this is our post All-Star NBA predictions for the finals. Stay tuned with us, man. We're going to be dropping a lot of content. We have a lot of stuff leading to many, many great, both NFL and NBA. And so there's a lot of things that are about to start taking place. And so, hang on with us. And so this was so much fun talking about basketball today. Thank you guys for watching. We love y'all. And as always,
Peace.